Selection Saturday. Is that a thing in wrestling now? Oh, made me cat jump then. Selection Saturday, yeah, is that a thing? Well, it is in Memphis Wrestling because they have a shiny new belt. Here's DK, Derek King, with said belt and a nice sharp suit because he's got said belt under his arm. Nice new belt to announce that next week there will be the beginning of a tournament. It'll carry on through many weeks, but this week we're going to find out who is in the tournament. Now, that's not to give you pre-tournament matches like they would in WWE. So yes, we're going to have 14 weeks of pre-tournament matches and then a 25-week tournament, that sort of thing. No. You're just going to get lots of people looking at their phones going, right. Oh. So there's going to be quite a lot of that. That's not to say this episode was poor, because how can Memphis Wrestling ever be poor? I was just wiping a bit of spit, or even skit, but not the SH version off the lens there. Now, it's not to say it's a poor episode, because it couldn't be. Not with Mike Anthony in the main event anyway. And Memphis can never be poor. Sometimes it can be a little bit, okay, all right. But there's always something going on. And as Dustin tells us, it's with his lovely Maria. We do have Terence later on announcing, does something very funny actually. I'll talk about that in a minute. Don't think many people might have spotted that. But he tells us that, yes, a lot's happening this week. It's a bit full on. It goes by in the blink of an eye. Dustin? Blink of an eye. You can have that. You can have it if you want. Not used it yet, but I'm sure he will. Okay. Ray is up for this tournament. So is Sean Harvey. There's your first two. There you go. Now, Gio Savage will be facing Iceman Sosa. Now, Gio and Iceman, they're a bit too muscled, or maybe I'm a bit too much timber for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Maybe. But they give us an okay match. It's okay. And it's almost average, which is a bit of a shame because Gio Savage, with his shoulder roll, I feel a bit sick, is supposed to be the enemy of average. But you've got a shotgun drop kick from Gio to begin with. Sosa bails just before Gio Savage is to get the shoo kick, which I really dislike. So I'm very pleased he bailed. I kept thinking, he's going to do it. He will do it later. He's about to. He didn't, which is great. I really like that. At one point, Sosa just picked him up and dumped him, threw him. So his body was parallel into the corner. As Dustin says, quite dangerous that. Yeah. No chance to defend yourself there, is there? Threw him straight into the buckle. There was a Sosa headlock work. He's a big dude, is Iceman Sosa. But then you've got some punch lines. Not a punch, not a clothesline, a punch line from Gio and the Death Valley driver, seemingly out of nowhere, for the pin. It was only okay. Yeah. Anyway, we've got Colton Cage. He's ready. He's ready for the tournament. There's another one for you. I don't think I spotted all of them. I could go back and check, but I can't be bothered. Yeah. So anyway, Brother Bruce, realises they've been led by an ash hole. And he says that he and Morrow will maul them all. I quite like that. But they don't get off to a very good start because we've got Slaughterhouse. And I've seen these before, these dudes, I think. Jagged James and Nasty Nick. Now, Nasty Nick is fine. Jagged James? I suppose he's all right. But anyway, here they are in their plaid shirts, doing that to the camera. And we've seen the promos of Reverend Ashhole Taylor, saying that he has been, he believes, kicked to the curb. You took everything away from me, Bruce and Marat Morrow, and Sister Ace, so let's not forget that. And I'm going to take everything from you. And they then proceed to, I do like the way that his name credit is Ash Taylor. Also, no longer righteous. That's great. Really good. Really good. So, there's an immediate fight. Spear, choke. This is all from Slaughterhouse. Draggy James and Nasty Nick. And then Nick is thrown into the corner to get some shoulders on with Bruce. There's a slam. Morrow gets unmasked by Ash Taylor, and he grabs the mask, holds onto it while Sister Ace was covering Morrow's face. And as Slaughterhouse walk away to the bad guy dressing room, he backs away holding the mask and walks straight into Slaughterhouse. Watch where you're going, Ash. For goodness sake. Anyway, I like the appearance of Slaughterhouse, and that's rather good. And that'll really serve them in good stead. What doesn't serve Memphis in good stead, in my view, is that Lance is ready and tells his big homie, because he's little homie, Tim, his dad, that he's ready. But Tim says, I think of Flex every day in the hospital. Why, has he been every day in the hospital? Is that where he is? We haven't seen that, have we? And what the LA Hustlers did to him. Right, they attacked him with a wrench, okay? It was a street fight, so nobody seems to mention that little item, do they? A street fight, anything goes. People were being dumped into skips, if I remember rightly, or dumpsters if you're across the pond. So they're allowed to do what they want. There's no DQ. You both agreed to a street fight. There you go. You can't then say, yeah, but I didn't think it was going to be a street fight where there was actually no DQ, or it was being fought on a street. Well, they're closing the title, mate. So anyway, out come the LA Hustlers. They're not happy, having lost the titles because through a ladder match, the first ever Memphis Wrestling ladder match. So their Achilles heel is that they're frightened of heights. And they would never have thought, they'll never do a ladder match. They've never done one before. And they're doing a ladder match. They might have thought that was done specifically to wrest the titles from them. Yeah, could have been. Out comes Tim Grind, out comes Lance, out comes Zaya, and they fight. And they'll probably fight next week, won't they? Now, Mama Money is delighted with the news that her son's got. CJ Money, yes, he's in the tournament, Follocks. Very nice. Nixie XS wasn't in Memphis last week. She's not in Memphis this week. Last week, she tempted the champion, Diana Taylor, to come to Memphis. Diana has walked into that trap because although Nixie is not in Memphis this week either, Sue Young is and puts the mandible claw on Diana Taylor. And either Diana Taylor is selling very well or she actually finds it quite disgusting. It's really well done, actually. But if you're selling that, Diana, great. She says later on she will always be a fighting champion, but she also says, I'll always be the Memphis Wrestling Women's Champ. Well, right, let me just explain. The thing is, you have these things called matches, and you fight people, you might be the champion, but you might not win. There's this thing. It's called a 3 count, and you might, yeah, you know those, and it might mean that you lose a match, and therefore you might have to give up your belt, because it's on the line when you do your match, you see. So unless you're never going to fight for that belt again, or put the belt on the line, you might not become champion. Mind you, good to be confident. Always good to be confident. Okay, here's Makari Candy versus KJ Rocket with Seven Cruz in the corner. It's not that good, to be honest. There's a test of strength and lots of avoidance. We've got a chop to the belly from Makari Candy. And Seven Cruz pulls Rocket out to allow her to bail. And then Rocket's going, look behind you. And Makari Candy smacks him one right across the chops. Right across the chops. Back in the ring, KJ Rocket pulls on the arms while standing on the hair. I always love that manoeuvre. Lovely, the manoeuvre. Makari Candy gets a suplex, and then Seven Cruz gets on the apron, empties out the bucket of candy. Makari Candy is not very happy about that, smacks him one, and of course falls to the distraction roll up for the pin. Yeah, not brilliant, no. But we got Mike Anthony to come, the internet champion who always gives us an open challenge. So who this week will it be? Well, citizens, it's Wonderboy, who of course has been what's it called? The champion of the Apex champion, who's been the Apex champion in EPW wrestling out of Mississippi with all the M's, I's, P's and S's. There's a handshake to begin with, and very quickly, a sarcastic clap from Mike Anthony, who does not sell fantastically well. Now, he gets a hammerlock in there and a big clothesline, a huge uppercut. I mean, good camera work. You could really see it. So meaty. Belly to back suplex on the apron. When he tries it again, though, Wonderboy grabs hold of the ropes and just looks at him as if to say, see, I countered you. And then he jumps off the apron with a crossbody, which Mike Anthony sells extremely well. Love that, because that's what he can do. Then there's a Mike Anthony slam. But Wonderboy gets to the top. Hits a super tornado DDT. So a tornado DDT off the top. And then another one. And Mike Anthony kicks out. That is extraordinary. Nice. Then there's a wonder kick, because Wonderboy thinks, I'm onto something here. Misses it. Horrible jawbreaker. I mean, great jawbreaker, but horrible to see from Mike Anthony. And that brainbuster for the pin, as Dustin says, shades of Coco beware. Yeah, you're right, I'd forgotten. I'd always thought of him doing the ghetto blaster, but you're quite right. And that looked great. That brainbuster looked even nastier. There's your pin. But this episode wasn't nasty, was it? He said, tying it up. Isn't that nice? I do that so well. It's a great episode and a great promotion and a great deal of fun. Goes by in the blink of an eye, eh, Dustin? And can't wait for next week, because it will be the beginning of the tournament. Now then, if only I knew who was in it. Ta-ta.